Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from some of our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. First up on Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie State softball head coach Ed Powell gears up for the 2026 season as the Bulldogs look to chase their fourth title in a row. Then, catch up on Washington Wizards coverage as the Wizards get a good win over the Bucks as the team honors John Wall. On Baltimore Ravens Rundown, check out the introductory press conference featuring the Ravens' new head coach, Jesse Minter. Lastly, we take a look at the sights and sounds from the week leading up to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California with Bowie TV. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight, and have a safe and happy New Year.
What's going on, family? I am back. I'm your host, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live. Once again, we got the coach, Powell, the great. I don't like when I say that, so I ain't gonna throw it out there. But listen, you got the best of the best when it comes to softball. The three-peat champions of Bowie State University. 2026 season is among us. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well tonight, man, Terrence. Thanks for having me, man. Once again, I appreciate it.
Hey, listen, for those that don't know, every other Monday is going down with myself and Coach Powell. We call it the Pitts and Powell Show. You can phrase it however you like, but it's P squared. We'll be coming to you every Monday night at 6:30. We'll also be bringing in some the players of Bowie State softball, alumni, etc. And to all those other universities, listen, this is not only a Bowie State show. I will have other coaches on from other universities as well. But listen, tonight it's about Bowie State and their quest for a rare one. We're looking for that fourth one. We're looking to start adding those rings up on the hand and get that fourth one. Shout out to one of your players, Karina Dunham, who is tuned in as well, who I will also have on the show soon. Coach, what we're looking for, man, the season is about to be among us. You know, next month we're in Atlanta. Let's talk.
Man, so I'm really excited about, the team. We get together in a couple of days, to celebrate last year. But, just to put an end to last year, we're going to celebrate, and then we're going to get moving on Sunday, and then start on Monday. So literally, like you said, the season is upon us, man, and I'm excited. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time, just because we got a schedule ahead of us, but, we got to get going first.
One thing that I've admired is that, when it comes to, your softball team, regardless of the roster or the turnover within the team, the results, the expectation stays the same. That's something that we talked about, for a while. And this year, you only have one returning senior, which is Karina Dunham. Let's start off and let's just highlight and let's talk about her and the leadership that she brings and how your leadership amongst your returning players and matriculate the expectations down to the other players.
Man, that is the lifeline of our success. Honestly, that is where, that's where it starts. And if we're talking specifically about, Coco Karina, I'll call her Dunham, but her nickname is Coco. So we're talking about, somebody that actually is the leadoff. Like when I talk about a leadoff, she's the leadoff, but that means so much to what we do. You know what I mean? Her tenacity, her ability to be able to get on base often is huge for us. And the other thing too is a lot of players, when they get on base, they're looking to get to the next base. But Dunham literally is looking to get to home from first. Wherever she is on the base, she's always looking to get not just to the next base, but she's looking to get to home. So with that kind of, and she, being a senior, being in the program for 3 years, they progress into being the leaders. That's my goal. Every time you come in as a sophomore, as a freshman, by the time you're a junior and senior, I want you to lead this team. You know what I mean? And I tell them that personally. It's their time. It's their time. So, I'm looking forward to Karina, Coco Dunham to come in and, and lead the team like she has been. And then, we got a lot of really good juniors and sophomores. The expectation doesn't change about their leadership, because once they in the fold, then they grow to be leaders, and they've
Yeah.
done that. They really have really taken the reins of being, of taking that responsibility. So I'm excited about to see how far that goes, and just excited about getting ready to go.
Before we jump into 2026, let's stop and let's recap. 2025. Once again, three-peat champions. You have the ring ceremony coming up. You can just briefly talk about that and the expectations.
So 2025 was actually a really special. They all are special, but 2025 we really had to come together to be successful, which like all the other teams did too. But 2025 actually garnered the second most wins in the school's history. So I just realized that was an accomplishment. I mean, I don't think that was on nobody's bingo board, but you know what I mean. That was a great accomplishment, and and that team can take a whole lot of pride in doing that. You know what I mean? So I really am excited about the ceremony. That's happening Friday. I think it's well deserved. That's kind of how we should honor our champions.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about just being able to honor them with the rings and a couple other surprises. But they earned it on the field. They earned it in practice. They earned it on the field. They earned whatever accolades come their way. It wasn't just by happenstance.
Yeah.
It's about them coming together to want to do something together bigger than themselves. So man, I'm excited just to be a part. And 2025 was really, really good. As far as team culture, team togetherness. So we're just looking to move that to 2026.
And one thing about last year, like we talked briefly about in other appearances, was how last year I admired how Big Draco, shout out to Drake, came in
Yeah.
that championship game, and when our number one pitcher gave all she can, and Drake came in and closed out, and her demeanor, her composure, that there was a no flinch mentality. When you look at the freshmen coming in this year, when I watched the game against Maryland, as I spoke, and University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and even Morgan State, you're the freshmen coming in. They have some big bats.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, like you say, shout out to Drake for coming in and doing that, last year, which, I had all my belief and know that, that she was gonna come in and do, the necessary thing to get us where we were trying to go. And the other thing, man, I really, the depth is one of the things that we take pride in. You know what I mean? We have depth, and we're not afraid to show our depth. That people go in the game, we have no drop off. The expectation does not change. You know what I mean? So and that was expected from Draco, and she came in and did her thing. Like I said, shout out to Drake for we just gonna be looking for just a little bit more next year. I mean, a little bit more in a couple weeks. You know what I mean? So I don't want to wrap a bow around 2025 too fast, but you know what I mean. We're gonna have to celebrate and then get ready. So
Yeah. And when we talk about getting ready, we look forward to the 2026 season. If you can, talk about the lineup a little bit, right? Because you have you have depth at every position, right? And you have some players, really with them athletes that can play multiple positions. Just talk a little bit about the your lineup that you're looking forward to this upcoming season.
Oh man, I mean, it's gonna shake itself out, and everybody gonna compete because that's what we do. I want us to compete every day. So, everybody's gonna come in, trying to really carve out their niche to get on the field. You know what I mean? And so, but I what I will tell you is that, we got some solid, 3-year players, that's been playing, especially in the outfield. Those guys are, 3 years out there, 2 years out in the outfield. Erlen Robinson, Presley Braxton, and Karina Dunham have held it down, for this is going on the second year that all three of them have been out there in the outfield together. So, right there, I feel is going to be a really strong point for us looking for them to come in. And we got some really good freshmen coming in and got sophomores that are competing, to try to get on the field. So the expectation is really high. And in the infield, of course, Taylor will be solidly, in at shortstop. She played second base for us a lot last year and also the year before, and then, played a lot of second base, and now I'm gonna play shortstop. So looking for good things there, and we always got a battle at third. Lisa is always battling, ready to go, and then we got Amos is always right there. So we got a battle there. The catchers are going to be really, really competitive. Michael, Shelley, and Audrey, looking for really competition and really to get on the field. Second base, we got a really good competition. Adriana, we got Adriana, and we got a couple, because that's why, and Naya, and who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody else, but I know everybody gonna be able to compete. And then first base, we got, we gonna figure out who's gonna be at first base. No, not me. They gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Not me. They gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? And we gonna play until we figure it out. And then in the circle, man, I'm really excited. Who we got in the circle. Sydney coming back, like we talked about. Sydney Seals. And then, of course, we got Drakeford, and then we have Alicia, and then we have Aaliyah. So we're looking really in the circle. We're looking really good. I'm excited about, the possibilities in the circle, man. So all on the field, there's going to be opportunities. You know what I mean? That's why we talk about the depth, next woman up. You know what I mean? So we talk about don't get ready, stay ready. Yeah, so that's kind of how we try to walk every day. You know what I mean? So that's where we are. That's the squad.
One thing that I shared with you off record was, at that University of Maryland game, when you guys played UMES, and University of Maryland, was that, your freshmen, their bats at that stage of the season, the fall season, it almost was looking like CIAA Roundup. It's like, they were already polished. When it was time for a rally, a lot of the times it was the freshman bats that got the rally started. How excited are you for your incoming freshmen and for their contribution and working their way into the lineup and showcasing what they can do?
Yeah, I think the freshmen, I think they're going to be contributors. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I look at it. I look at them to come in and establish their role, whatever that is. You know what I mean? I look for them to come in, and like I always say, if they bring the determination, what we do as coaches bring the opportunity. So all I'm looking for them to do right now is just bring the determination, because I know things going to be moving kind of fast for them. You know what I mean? Especially we start off in Atlanta. We got to take the bus ride and then getting down there, and then the games, the competition level that we're going to be playing. So things are going to be moving pretty fast for them. And then hopefully, somewhere in that weekend, it's going to slow down where they can actually, and I am literally looking for them to contribute to our success in big ways.
So. When you talk about the bus ride in Atlanta, it's different from last year. Last year, we're usually in Spartanburg, South Carolina. This year, we're joining and being a part of, the FAMUs and the Alcorn State. So let's jump there, because the very first game that Bowie State plays is against FAMU. You're talking about, a challenge right off the bat. What are your expectations from the ladies off from the very first pitch?
Man, what I will tell you is that I didn't put this schedule together. I mean, I didn't. That was not, that was not my doing. I just said we would play in the D1, but I had no idea that they would, give us FAMU. I mean, I think if you look at all the other schedules, I think we got the hardest schedule, but I think that's because we got we got a really good team.
After shoot-around today, Scoot looked to be doing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Taking some shots. Just kind of how you guys feeling about where he is?
Yeah, no adjustment. Just, I think today was his first day on the court, so still no running, just moving. So.
In Philly, you would kind of mention, like, hey, we are Rumor Central.
Yeah.
And I can't wait until the deadline's done so we can stop being Rumor Central.
Well, that hasn't stopped people all year, so I don't think that's going to stop people. So.
Dealing with a new batch of it.
Yeah.
The onslaught seems unending. Like it's just going to keep happening.
Yeah, it's. I mean, same thing. We don't answer to any of it. Nothing's changed, and we're just trying to win a game. Hate to take a story away from you guys, but.
No. How do you? I mean, they're grown people. They can take it or leave it. I'm sure. But
Yeah.
How do you keep them from obsessing about it?
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I've never known that answer, and nobody has. I think every year it's a different thing, It's so much tougher now. I've said that many times. And when we played, it was you, Rachel, Bob, Brian, and 6 other people, and you had to go and buy the paper to read the paper, and, times have changed. There's people reporting on teams that have never met anybody, never seen anybody, but it's news is news now. When you read it, people read it as it must be a fact. It must be factual, even when people write it with no knowledge. And some people do have knowledge. It's just the way it is. So I do address it. I more than I used to. I sit down, with guys who, I trust my staff, like who is it affecting?
Yeah.
And they're guessing too. But if they say, I really think it affects them, I'll sit that guy down. But that's all you can do. Agents call now, and, I've always wondered with that, why an agent would call his player and say, hey, you've been mentioned in 17 trades. I just don't get the logic there,
right.
But that's what some of them do. So, yeah, it's just different.
Doc, I'll throw one at you, the crazy season back to the game itself here today. But I'm curious, when you look back at the last 2 that you played with these guys, was there a common theme that you saw?
Well, they won at the end of the game. Really, like we played well through the game, and then the game in Milwaukee, like you can't blow a game in a better way. Missed free throws. I think we missed 4 or 5 free throws down the stretch. Turned the ball over. Could have dribbled the clock out. I think took a quick shot at the basket. They got it, and they made a shot at the end. So the only good news is that guy can't make one of those shots. And he had the same shot against us in Atlanta, and we stopped him. So it's just the way it is.
Doc, I'm working on a piece about how coaches decide who they have on their staff working with the players to help them on their shooting mechanics.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy on it? Do you have each of your assistants work with all 3 of the people he works on, or do you have one person? What do you think is best?
I think it's best when you can find a really good shooting coach, but there's not a lot of those out there. So the second best is, you have your skill development staff. They all have their strengths and weaknesses like we all do in life. And you kind of figure it out, that one, like who has the most knowledge about the shot. The guys, the one thing I've learned with the players, when you don't have a chip on your staff, they figure out who they think is the best guy at working with shots, and you figure it out because they'll tell you, I want to work with that guy more, I want to do this more, and so that one's pretty easy.
Yesterday, Jay Crowder tweeted something about how he felt like the team's downfall started with you getting hired.
Yeah.
And Adrian Griffin getting fired.
Well, that's just a nice thing to say and bring up. Yeah.
I'm curious for you, like, when an ex-player says something about you, like, how did, as a coach,
it goes like, it really does. I mean, it hurts us all when you see somebody, but usually there's a reason behind it. Usually it's called playing time, and you know that for sure. And, I always use the David Chappelle line, when the Titans are failing, the cowards will come out and crow, and I've always thought that's got a lot of truth to it.
Coach, how do you feel about the team's preparation for tonight's game?
Well, I think we're prepared. We better be. We're struggling, and we need to come in here and get a win. But it's not like they haven't been either, and they just won a game, so they're feeling better about their game than us right now because they won the last game. So they're at home. It's Gilbert Arenas night or John Wall night, and I don't even know what that means. Like, will that bring them more joy? Will that be a distraction? I mean, who knows? But I just know there'll be more people. There'll be more energy, hopefully, in the crowd, and that'll be a good thing. Good thing for both teams, actually.
If one of those rumors does turn into reality over the next several days, and it depends on what the shape of everything would be, but how would you anticipate that changing what the rest of the season would look like?
Well, it's a good way of trying to ask a question that I'm not going to answer. I will say that was a really good effort there. But I mean, it's something, why think about something that hasn't happened and probably won't happen?
All right, last one on Giannis. Do you seek more information from him or less at this time when this is going on?
Probably about the same. I mean, it's funny. I don't seek any information about that. We talked today about he went to Peter Fagan's Key to the City thing, and I texted him a long text telling him those are the things that matters, like, to me. Like, as a coach, I was very proud of him that, you don't have to show up for that kind of stuff. And he did, and I wanted him to, and he did it, showed up, because when you're the best player, you're asked to do more, and most of the time they don't want to do it, and I just thought that was really cool that he showed up. I thought it meant a lot. I told him, you don't know how much that means to someone else, and when you do things like that, that speaks about who you are, and so that's what we talked about today. Other than that, that was about it.
Three lucky contestants that are going to try to do the exact same thing. Britt, who do you have with you today?
I got 3 John Wall fans. Hopefully they can shoot like him too. I got Johnny, Claire, and Mark. Are y'all ready? 45 seconds on the clock. We need at least 1 make for them to get those autographed basketballs. No pressure for John's watching. In 3, 2, 1. 35 seconds left. DC family, make some noise like it's John shooting. We need one make. Give me one make. And everybody's getting an autographed basketball. We're getting closer. 20 seconds. Work those legs. DC family, make some noise. Oh man, you're not shooting like John tonight. 8 seconds left. I need a make. Use your legs for Johnny. Clear for the ladies.
Down 3 games to 2. They need to win this to stay alive. 7.7 seconds to go. Now this is big right now. Morris Wall, Beal, and Borton. Porter can't find anybody. Gives it to Wall. Porter gets quickly for 3. Shot!
Family, please welcome to center court, John Powell. Joining John at center court are his sons Ace and Amir. The Wizards, in partnership with DC Parks and Recreation, are happy to announce and share with John for the very first time, as part of the District of Play program, the next court renovation at Randall Recreation will be named the John Wall Court. The John Wall Court will debut this summer, creating a lasting legacy for John right here in the district. Finally, please welcome to center court, Monumental Sports and Entertainment President of Media and New Enterprises, Zach Leonsis. On behalf of the Leonsis Family Foundation, we are proud to present a $25,000 check to the John Wall Family Foundation, reinforcing John's continued commitment to the DC community. DC family, give it up one more time for the great John Wall.
Thanks, Sashi. Shout out to our players and our legends that are here today. It's great to see you guys. Steve challenged us a few weeks ago to find the next coach who would be here for 18 years. And if we do our job, I won't be here, which is great. We spent 2 weeks, it was a sprint to the finish. We talked to at least 20 candidates in different formats, Zoom, in person, on the phone. Really, really proud of the process. And it became apparent quickly that Jesse Minter was the right guy to be our next head football coach. Jesse's smart, he's a leader, he's got great humility, he's a problem solver, a great tactician. We've enjoyed watching his defenses play. And he started at the bottom, and now he's here. And I think that's great. And I'm so happy to work with him as a partner over the coming months and coming years. And I think this is a great day for the Baltimore Ravens.
Thank you. I also want to shout out the players for being here. I really appreciate that, and the former players as well. Great to see all you guys. I'm truly honored and humbled to be here as the head football coach of the Baltimore Ravens. I want to thank Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta, Ozzie Newsome, Sashi Brown, Dick Cass, and the entire organization for their trust and belief in me to lead this football team. Didn't get here on my own. Really want to shout out the Spanos family, Joe Ortiz, Jim Harbaugh, and the Chargers for the wonderful opportunity to serve as the defense coordinator there the last 2 years. Joe and Jim's guidance in particular, their mentorship has meant the world to me and has helped me prepare me for this moment. I also want to thank the defensive staff there, guys I work with every day. Most importantly, the players. Cherished our time together, wish them the best. Love all you guys. To my family, my parents, my brother, my in-laws, my nieces and nephews, thank you. I'm incredibly grateful to take this next step alongside my wife Rachel. She's my best friend. Our children, Billy, Monty, and Mac, who are now superstars thanks to the Twitter and YouTube videos that were out on them last night. You guys mean everything to me, and we're on this journey together as we always have been. Now it's time to get to work. We get to go to work. The we is important. It takes everybody to be successful. I look forward to empowering our players, the coaches that we bring in. We will create our own standards that will allow us to reach our ultimate goals together. Thank you again. The responsibility to the city of Baltimore, the state of Maryland, is not lost on me. It's one I look forward to. I look forward to going to work to prove the decision of these men up here right. And to our players, I really can't wait to get to work with you guys. We will build a true team built on toughness, fundamentals, a team that plays together, and we will work to be the best team in the National Football League. And we will be at our best when our best is needed. I think that's really important. To the Ravens flock, thank you. My family and I, we feel your passion and energy. We are thrilled to join the great fan base again, and we will make you all proud. Thank you.
Questions? Yep. Jesse, this is James Hensley with ESPN. Welcome back to the Ravens.
Thank you.
One of the reasons there is a coaching change here is because of the underperforming in the postseason. What is kind of, you touched on it a little bit there, but what is kind of your vision to elevate this team to that next level?
That's a great question, Jameson. I appreciate that. I really think building a really cohesive team, that all the work that you do leads to being successful in those opportunities. So I think we will create standards that match the goals that we want to achieve, and then work every day tirelessly to get to that point. Our plan will be built on being at our best late in the season, into the playoffs, and look forward to that challenge.
Jesse Rebeck from The Athletic. Can you talk about this process and what was it like to go through it? I guess you interviewed with almost every team. Was it the Ravens opening that you sort of circled at the beginning and thought, this is where I want to be if we can work this out?
Yeah, great question, Jeff. Great to see you again. I think when the process started, you really have no idea what jobs are going to be open as you get towards the middle end of the season. You feel like you might be a candidate, but when this job opened, this became the one for me, and this was the one that I wanted. I did go through the initial process with a lot of different teams, but as I was able to reconnect with people in this organization, and knowing the history, knowing the tradition, knowing the spine of the organization, kind of what it's built on, there was no better place for me.
Jesse, Brian Wacker, Baltimore Sun. You've already mentioned that you've spoken with Lamar. Just curious, when did that conversation take place, and what was the gist of it, and how do you envision getting the most out of somebody who's obviously already been a two-time MVP?
Yeah, Lamar and I have had multiple conversations. It's been great. It's been great to get to know him. I think relationships take time, and so you don't become the head coach of the Ravens and expect to have a deep relationship with anybody. So those take time. We've been working towards that already. We've had wonderful conversations. Look forward to many, many more. But Lamar, I just look forward to connecting with him, helping him become the best version of himself, creating a team identity that allows him to thrive, which he's already proven to be an elite, one of the best player in the National Football League, and put a team around him that allows him to reach that ultimate goal of bringing a Super Bowl back to Baltimore.
Jesse, Pete Gilbert here with WBAL TV. Welcome back. And I'm curious, did you get a chance to talk with John Harbaugh about this job and some of the things he offered maybe you about why you might fit in here so well as the head coach?
Yeah, I've talked to Coach a couple times. Tons of respect for John. The 18 years here, wonderful success. Probably, Super Bowl, probably in the Ring of Honor one day. And so tons of respect for everything that he's done. We've had just a couple small conversations. He knows how I feel about this place. He did text me like, I think they should hire you. That was just one of the texts he sent, so I appreciated that. But love John, and really just take the foundation in place and build on it and make it better and put my own spin on it and not try to be John Harbaugh, not try to be Jim Harbaugh. Be myself, connect with everybody, make it about all of us, and really look forward to doing that.
Jesse, Ryan Mink with BaltimoreRavens.com. Eric mentioned you worked your way up from the bottom here, starting as a defensive assistant. Can you reflect on that journey and how much more special it makes it to work your way up that way?
It makes it really special. I went into this process, and I told Eric this, it wasn't because I knew everybody here that I wanted this job. It was because of my time here that I was able to see how this place operates and knowing that everything is in place to be a championship organization. And so that, I think my time being here allowed me to see that. Certainly just have the respect and humility of working your way up, and now I think anybody that comes into our coaching staff, comes into our organization, it's like you put your head down and you go to work and you work every day to try to be the best, whatever that role is, whether it's the defensive assistant, the assistant defensive backs coach, the defensive backs coach, now as the head coach. If you really focus on that and try to be the best at your job, anything's possible. And so great to have that, great opportunity, and look forward to the journey.
Hey Jesse, Jonas Schaefer from the Baltimore Banner. Some Chargers players that you coached last year described you as an alpha. Talking to some coaches and players who you worked with in the past said that wasn't really the Jesse that they remember working with. I guess, can you talk about your evolution to a guy who can command the room, especially in the NFL with some of the egos and big time names that are?
I think it's learning. It's just always trying to evolve, always trying to get better. I think when I came in here, I had been a small college defensive coordinator, so I had stood up in front of the room and called defenses before and done those things, but I really made it a point here to come in and learn and listen and get to know the players and learn from them about what it took to be successful at this level. So I had great players around, great coaches to work with. And then just my confidence has grown as I've been in those positions now for a while. Been in the leadership positions. Your confidence grows. Your own style sort of begins to come out. And so I think that's really been the involvement. But it's really about trying to get better every day, trying to learn and grow and learn from everybody, listen to people, and always be trying to get better. And I think that's what's led me to this point.
Hey Jesse, Luke Jones, WNST, welcome. You being a defensive guy, a lot of questions about do you plan on calling your defense? And if so, how do you delegate that knowing the responsibilities and scope of that is so much more than being a defensive coordinator?
I do plan on calling the defense, great question. I think that's a strength of mine. I think that's one of the reasons I'm sitting here. But I also think it's my leadership qualities. And I really look forward, I have a really good process, I feel, to do what I need to do to be ready to call the game, but also have the ability to be the head coach and to impact the entire roster, the entire team, make sure that it's our offense, our defense, our special teams, and that there's no divide there, and I know that I'm in charge of all that. But it starts with the relationships with the people in the building, particularly the players, and I think they'll feel my competitiveness, they'll feel my mentality every day, and I think we'll work hand in hand together to build a great team.
Jesse Cordell Woodland here from 105.7 The Thing. I am curious about, you have a guy, Kyle Hamilton, on the defensive side of the ball. He's been used kind of all over the field in this defense. What is kind of your vision for a guy like Kyle Hamilton?
Great question. Kyle is a weapon. He's a positionless defensive player that I would classify as a weapon on defense. And so as much as you can do to get a guy like Kyle near the point of attack, I think is what you try to do as a designer, play caller. And so could not be more thrilled to be able to work with Kyle. Had a couple really good conversations with him already. And I know he's excited, and I'm excited to work with him alongside all the really great players that we have in this organization.
Charles Walker with the Baltimore Banner. The relationships between the coach and the general manager have been very important here. So I guess I would ask both Jesse and Eric, do you feel the fact that you guys do have some background together will let you sort of hit the ground running that way? And will the structure be similar to what it was in the past, where you both work with Steve, or will the chain of command be any different?
I think it's a partnership with Eric and I, and that's really what I was looking for in this whole process, was a partnership, somebody that you really, really trust. I do think the background of how Eric operates is what I was most excited about. I haven't seen him do this job prior, and so couldn't be more thrilled about our relationship beginning to grow and beginning to develop. And I know that we see football the same. We see what building a team looks like the same. And there's nobody I'd rather be sitting next to than Eric DeCosta.
Hey Jesse, Morgan Atzett with Fox 45. As far as coaching hires, are there any that you can confirm? And as far as offensive and defensive coordinator go, how is that search going? What's the timeline, and what are you looking for in those particular two positions?
Yeah, great question. I won't confirm any hires at this point. Both of those searches are going really well. They're very far along, I would say. We're finalizing a few of those pieces. I'm looking for leaders and connectors and relationship builders and schematic expertise. But most importantly, guys that the players believe in, that they're willing to dive deep and build real strong relationships with the players. I think when they feel that it's collaborative and they feel that it's ours and not just the coaches and this is what the players do, this is what the coaches do, it's all of us. And so I'm excited about the people involved in those searches right now, and I look forward to sharing those in the near future.
Gary Downey, Baltimore Ravens. Eric, as you went through this process, what was the point where you made the decision as a group and said, Jesse is the guy that we want, and what was it that kind of tipped the scales in that direction?
Yeah, good question, Gary. And I think first I really want to thank Sashi and Ozzie and Derek Cameron was a big part of this as well, and everybody else. And we got a lot of information. We talked to many people, and we had a number of Zooms. We got them scheduled very quickly. We started almost immediately with our process. And as I said, it was a sprint. We treated it like a 2-week draft, essentially. In most cases, we have 2 interviews a day. various times of the day. And it was just really interesting, I think, valuable for me personally to talk to all these like extremely intelligent, great leaders from other teams to see kind of how they do things. And I learned a lot. And it's not something that you want to do every year, certainly. But to do it once, I think, was a very, very valuable experience for me. And I think Ozzy and Sashi would say the same thing. As we went through the first round, we started to see patterns develop. We really did kind of come out with 4 or 5 people that we thought were probably for us the cream of the crop, or at least the finalists that we would envision. Obviously, the rules, NFL rules, make it difficult to interview all the candidates the same way, given that some teams are still playing. So we came out of the process, I think, and we were talking about the next step. Most of our interviews have been over Zoom. We brought some guys in. Jesse was one of those guys that we brought in as a finalist, and he just blew us away in person. I mean, as good as his Zoom interview was, I think spending time with him in Baltimore was even more valuable. And I think at that point, while he was with me in my office, I started to imagine Jesse as our head coach and what that might look like. And as we got feedback from other people, from Steve, from Ozzy, from Sashi, everybody who had a chance to contribute, it became very apparent that Jesse was really the guy that we would target to be our next head coach.
Hey, Jesse, Keith Mills from WBAL Baltimore. You received a tremendous amount of praise from a lot of guys that you coached with along your journey. One of them was from P.J. Volker, defensive coordinator at the Naval Academy. What was that journey like coming through with so many guys that are doing well? Was there a moment in time also when you thought, hey, I can do this, I can be a head coach in the NFL?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I think, just being able to come up with so many great coaches that I've worked with along the way. PJ and I were college teammates. Love what he's done over there at the Naval Academy, him and Coach Newberry with that defense. And so I think just the experience of going through it and being able to observe John Harbaugh, the guys that have been really successful in these type of roles. I think as I got to the Chargers, especially after my first year, being back in the NFL and now being in a leadership position as a coordinator, I felt like I could do the job, and I felt like I was preparing myself for this moment, for this opportunity. So the last year especially, I really felt strongly that I was getting more and more prepared to be in this situation, and I was hoping for an opportunity during this cycle, and then sure enough, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and this job opened up, and it was a match made in heaven for me and my family.
Jesse and Odie here, Jerry Coleman from the Be More Football Podcast and 100.7 The Day. Welcome back. Question for you and for Eric. For you, how surreal is it to be back here with a bigger office, as you talked about? And what transpired with you leaving and going to Vanderbilt? Can you take us through that?
Sure.
And then Eric, can you take us through, I know Steve had wanted some of the players involved, was Lamar, Kyle Hamilton, guys like that, involved in some of the process. Take us through that if you could, as far as you can.
Yeah, so 2020 COVID year, I was a defensive backs coach here, and Wink was the D coordinator. We had a great defensive staff. It's been well documented what all those coaches are doing now. And it was really just a kind of a shoot your shot moment for myself. Hit it off with Clark Lee, who's still a dear friend, who's the head coach at Vanderbilt. He reached out to me about being his defense coordinator, kind of hit it off, decided to do it, decided to leave, really just on my own accord, and wanted the opportunity to kind of run the defense and see if what I had learned here could be put into action. And so that was a great part of my journey, going with Clark, who's now one of my best friends in the profession. Went from there to Michigan, and then from there to the Chargers, and back here. So it was definitely a major part of me being prepared to be in this situation now.
Yeah, Jerry, so we had a small group of players, kind of split evenly, offense, defense. Could have picked a lot of guys. We tried to pick a small group of veteran players that had inquired about being a part of the process. They had the opportunity to come in to Baltimore or be a part of the Zoom.
This is Candy Waller from Bowie TV checking in. And maybe you can hear me, maybe you cannot. I'm giving you a walk around Super Bowl opening night. What some folks may know is that to kick off Super Bowl week, there's an introduction of the Super Bowl team to their beloved fans and the media. So I'm just gonna walk around so you can see what it looks like in San Francisco. So in case you can't see people, I'll do a little background commentary. So this is New England Patriots tight end Hunter Henry before he goes over here on the stage to do some media. So as promised, now here is Hunter doing his media. And Marcus Jones. So as you can see, they have select players that talk at the podium, and then all the other players are like just around. So with that being said, I actually have to find a couple of those Patriots players. Let's see who I can find. First of all, Morgan, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
How does it feel? Like I said, we've covered you from the Commanders, from the Ravens, your whole journey in the NFL. So just talk a little bit about your journey and what this moment means for you.
Just been blessed, been blessed to be on some, be around great men and men that challenge you every day to be your best that you can be. And so I'm grateful to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself and to continue this.
So you took a big leap, obviously, right? From 4-13 to here at the Super Bowl. What has this last year been like?
It's been amazing. A lot of guys in this locker room, coaching staff, equipment staff, you name it, have sacrificed a lot to be here, and we wouldn't be here without them. And so
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And as everyone might imagine, quarterback Drake May has a crowd around him. You cannot get over there. You got to get in quickly if you want to see Drake. And let me be clear, Drake May, that is quarterback for the New England Patriots. No one anybody get confused on who I was talking about. There he is. I don't have any questions for him, so I'm just going to keep giving you all some of the sights and sounds. As one might can imagine, Stephon Diggs is another one that has plenty of media all around.
Bigger than me as a person, me as an individual. I'm playing for all those kids that I played with growing up in middle school and high school and college. Fenwick High School is at the Super Bowl. Western Michigan is at the Super Bowl. Lincoln Elementary School, Gwendolyn Brooks Middle School. So this game is so much bigger than me, and I have so much to play for.
Bill Williams, Harold Landry III, talking to media.
Yeah, I can see him doing something like that.
Right? We'll definitely get my steps in. More of what to see, so that everybody can see what this looks like.
So just kind of just staying patient.
Always a little bit of fun too in some of these interviews. Nothing like seeing a Bobby Wagner Seattle Seahawks jersey. Like mascots. If you know me, you know I do not. But for those that do, there you go. The Patriot. And this is important to show with you all as well. Some fan engagement with one of the players. It's always a lot of fun. Good sound bites here, folks. And then you get fans, cheerleaders taking pictures. It's a way to show you all what's going on. Oh, Coach Mike Vrabel. What's going over here? Again, a lot of people. A lot of media over here. The head coach, Coach Vrabel. Travion Henderson.
Going through that injury after my sophomore year, sitting down on my bed one day, and I never heard about Jesus Christ until I picked up my sophomore year. But I was sitting down on my bed one day, and he came and he started showing me just the simple things that I've done in life, the simple life that I was living apart from him. And in that moment right there, he was showing me that I was a sinner in need of his grace and mercy. And he just drew me closer to him, man, and he ended up opening my eyes.
So now what will end up happening is both the AFC and NFC teams will come out. As you can see, the Lombardi Trophy is making its way to the stage. So I'm gonna get a good look at it.
Welcome back. Super Bowl 60 opening night. Gatorade. Scott Hinton with you on a night when we celebrate something that brings more Americans together than anything else. NFL football and the Super Bowl. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the most coveted trophy in American team sports. 21 inches tall, it weighs 7 pounds of Tiffany's sterling silver. It defines the careers of the players and coaches that are able to win it. 6 days from right now, either the Seahawks or the Patriots will be hoisting this amidst the confetti. But before they battle for this trophy, we bring them together on stage in a moment of sportsmanship and unity. We will bring out the team leaders together, accompanied here on stage by the future football stars of tomorrow. We have the middle school girls champions from the 49ers Flag Football League and the Santa Clara Lions youth tackle football team on stage. And now, let's bring them out. From the AFC champion, New England Patriots, team captain, Drake May, Hunter Henry, Robert Spillane, Marcus Jones, Harold Landry III, Brendan Schooler, and head coach Mike Crable. From the NFC champion, Seattle Seahawks, team captain, Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devin Witherspoon, Brady Russell, Leonard Williams, Julian Love, and head coach Mike McDonald. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 seed from the AFC, the number 1 seed from the NFC. Teams that combine to win 35 total games, including the playoffs. What an NFL season it has been. 284 games down with 1 to go. Let's take a look at how the Seahawks and Patriots got here.